Good morning. It's Wednesday, October 21, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. Education Minister Cynthia Bradshaw has vowed to continue pressing the Caribbean Examination Council for a region-wide waiver of fees associated with a review of this year's results. In fact, she revealed that after a meeting of Caribbean Ministers of Education on Tuesday, the regional examining body had agreed to examine the cost implications of waiving the fees for all students affected by this year's questionable results.
The general feeling was that we should be in a position to have CXC waive the fees for students, and that is under consideration at this point in time by Council. And hopefully by tomorrow we should have a response from CXC as it relates to a general waiver. Barbados has made its position clear that we will be paying for our students, and others in the region obviously might very well follow suit as well, but we've asked for consideration to be given on a regional basis to having a waiver of the fees for students who are still desirous of having a review at this point in time.
Meanwhile, the findings of the independent review panel into the management of this year's CXC's CSEC and CAPE results are yet to be released. Minister Bradshaw did not disclose the details of the report, but she made it clear there must be improvements.
We've only just been able to conclude this first phase of the investigation, and we're trying to bring resolution to this situation, but mindful that task force will have to be set up. There will have to be further consultation with teachers as it relates to strengthening the communication between CXC and our teachers unions, ensuring that there is an appropriate research done so that we can understand exactly what has been happening in terms of the results, and looking really at the papers and determining whether we go forward with the existing papers or whether we make modifications to them.
Government officials are keeping a close eye on an oil tanker in the Gulf of Paria in Trinidad and Tobago. The floating oil storage vessel, which is said to contain approximately 1.3 million barrels of crude oil, is said to be dangerously close to tipping over and spilling its cargo in the Caribbean Sea. The Ministry of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy has issued a statement assuring that it is well aware of the situation and it remains in contact with regional partners in Trinidad and Tobago. It noted that the National Emergency Response Mechanism is on standby to respond to any eventuality. In less than 2 months, a new management team will be in charge of operations at Barbados' premier tourist attraction. Harrison's Cave will be managed by nature adventure tour company Chukka Caribbean Adventures Limited under a partnership that will take effect on December 1, 2020. Caves Barbados Limited confirmed that the 4 bids were received and Chukka Barbados was chosen based on the high quality of its submission, which offered a strong proposal for investment and development of the attraction. Minister of Tourism Senator Lisa Cummins confirmed that a full media conference is planned for November, which will include the principals of the new company. Minister of Agriculture Indar Weir says there's no evidence to support claims by the Barbados Agriculture Society that there's an increase in PRAEDIAL larceny. Last week, Smart and his business partner Jason Roberts complained of losing pigs, sheep, chickens, and other stock worth more than $30,000. As recently as last week, the thieves struck twice in the space of a few days. Weir says he will meet with the affected farmers and efforts are continuing to find a lasting solution to the vexing problem.
Whilst we are working, things will still obviously be happening, but I can't speak to any upsurge in something that was not reported to me. Certainly not by the DA, certainly not by the farmers directly. That is the reason why I'm speaking to having an established, dedicated unit that will deal with nothing else but PRAEDIAL larceny, that will deal with nothing else but working with the farmers and the Ministry of Agriculture to make sure that this matter is being seriously focused on.
The Barbados Light and Power Company Limited is reporting tremendous progress in several clean energy projects as it continues to invest millions of dollars in the renewable energy sector. Officials of the island's sole utility company gave an update of ongoing and future projects on Tuesday during an online media conference. BLMP's Director of Asset Management, Rohan Seal, said the company is gearing up to invest close to $55 million in its highly touted Lambert St. Lucie wind project, which will yield big benefits.
We expect that output would be of the order of around 29 gigawatt hours. Just to put that in perspective, that power output is really sufficient to power around 9,900 homes from renewable or clean energy, and that would provide around 3.4% of the island's demand from that particular project once implemented.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional happenings in Jamaica, the government's crime plan has been hampered by last month's Supreme Court ruling, which deemed the detention of 5 men under the state of emergency as unconstitutional. Senior law enforcers are making a case for the state of emergency, but government says it is awaiting guidance from its lawyers.
1.9% decline in murders and 1.7% decline in shootings. A small reduction, given the fact that the country recorded over 1,300 murders in 2019. The rate of decline was much higher, but since the SOEs were lifted in August, the country has seen a spike, which has resulted in a lower decline. At a recent virtual press briefing, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang was asked whether a recommendation was made by the security forces for a declaration of an SOE.
The security forces, head of security forces, think there's need for one, but would not move to do anything until we get the full assessment by our lawyers of what has come out of the particular judgment where the habeas corpus was filed against a number of detained clients. The parameters for it are there. We do need the additional tool to the police as we continue to deal with the criminal activity in Jamaica.
Dr. Chang argued that the crime-fighting tool almost doubled the strength of the security forces. And with the recent spike in murders, Major General Anthony Anderson says he's not satisfied with the marginal declines in murders and shootings. He was asked how critical it was for the police to get the SOE.
What has shown itself to be the tool that most quickly suppresses murder and shootings in the space where it's applied. So that has been shown. So it is important that we get it. We can see every time since we've implemented it that it has been removed. We start to see the spike again.
On the international front, the Trump administration on Tuesday sued Google in what is the largest antitrust case against a tech company in more than 2 decades. More in this report from CNN.
That Google controls 80% of the search market in the United States, and it's using its power to hurt rivals and damage competition. Now, DOJ's Deputy Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen said nothing is off the table in terms of what types of remedies the DOJ is seeking here, which could include a breakup of Google. And Google, for its part, says, and let me just read you a quick statement here that they just put out, that today's lawsuit by the Department of Justice is deeply flawed. People use Google because they choose to, not because they're forced to or because they can't find alternatives. We'll have a full statement this morning. Now, obviously, this litigation comes days before a pivotal election in which tech companies, including Google, have been criticized for their role in affecting democracy. And this case could have dramatic implications, not just for Google, but also for the rest of the tech industry and the economy at large, and with downstream effects for our elections.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.